Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing another Swiss Khans of Tarkir draft. Got ourselves a nice mythic Zergo Helm Smasher. He's pretty awesome. So I think we're going to first pick him. Nothing else amazing in here. I love Crippling Chill. Got a chance to try out Quiet Contemplation in that last draft, and it paid off pretty well. Cliffs are fine. Yeah, nothing. Savage Punch is good. Nothing too crazy though, and Helm Smasher, though 3-color right away. I don't have to build a Mardu deck just by first picking him, but if I play Mardu, I'm certainly going to be happy to have him. So let's 2, 3, 4, 5. I like to get it all nice and organized. Okay. So choices here. Well, Armament Core seems like it's the strongest card in this pack, followed by Throttle or War Shrieker, both of which are fine, but not nearly on the same level as this Armament Core. So I'm pretty tempted to just take the Armament Core. It's early enough, and I've been making 4-colored decks work reasonably well, as long as, you know, your 3rd and 4th color are fairly light. You should be able to get away with it, and I just love Armament Core. It's just such an amazingly powerful card. So I think we're gonna take it over everything else in here. If I was sure I was gonna end up Mardu, I'd probably take the. I'm trying to think if I would take Throttle over War Shrieker. I actually don't know. I don't know which one of those I like more. They're pretty close to even in my mind. Okay, so options here. Take another 5-drop. I mean, incremental growth just right off the bat seems like the most powerful card in this pack, I will say. I've had a lot of good experiences with it. I think it's a very powerful card. The only requirement to really make sure that it functions well in your deck is that you are, well, both, you know, primarily green with your 2 base colors, but more importantly that you have at least 15 creatures in your deck. You need a pretty creature-heavy deck to get good value out of incremental growth. So I think I'm fine taking it here. That's definitely going to lean me more towards having a green base, which is fine. Here we can take Scavenger, which would, I guess, start to put us deeper green-black. Student would put us deeper green-white, but Student's not nearly on the same level as Scavenger in terms of what we're likely to end up doing. I think we just take the Scavenger. I don't want to start taking blue picks. I think I'd rather focus on the 4 colors that we're already sort of working with within our first 3 picks. So let's just take this Scavenger, which is a fine card in general, and perhaps start focusing on green and black. Okay, so there's a Nightblade in here, which is going to be really good with the incremental growth and the Armament Core, so I think that's just an easy slam. Otherwise, I like Alpine Grizzly a lot. I think I like it more than most people do. I don't know if the format shifted at all and people start liking this card more, but I've been on the Alpine Grizzly bandwagon for quite a while now. I do like the card, but Nightblade just seems like a better choice for what we're trying to build. Okay, there's a Ponyback Brigade. That's going to be difficult to make the incremental growth work, I think. Rite of the Serpent is fine, not terribly exciting, especially in a 4-color deck, but we could end up with green, black base, splash white. I guess that's going to be difficult to make the Helm Smasher work at that point, splashing both white and red, but I think I mentioned it earlier. I don't have to play Helm Smasher. If the mana base doesn't work out, I can ditch Helm Smasher and we still have a fine deck. Otherwise, I mean, there's Ponyback Brigade too, but which is a good card and fine for this deck, but I think I'm going to take the right and just get one now. Could also take the Thornwood Falls, but I'm not really feeling it. Okay, I like Despise. I like getting Witness of the Ages as well. I actually just do like Despise. I think I'm okay with taking it here as well. I think this card is better in the. I've said this before, but I think Despise is better in this format than it was in what was it, Mirrodin Besieged or New Phyrexia, something like that. Whatever format it was formerly in, I don't think it was as good. In this format, it's really good. Just quick explanation why. Because it's a morph format, so getting information whilst simultaneously taking, their heavy hitters can be pretty beneficial. There's good late blue picks, which concerns me, but there's also the Swiftwater Cliffs, which is just more blue fixing I don't really need. I'm going to take this Kintree Warden. I actually don't think it's that great for our deck, but one upside of taking it here is it is a warrior. So if I end up playing either Rush of Battle or I get a Raider Spoils, it's going to be a good card to have. Otherwise, Wind Scout's a very good card. Aerostorm would be fine if I was deeper red. Mystic is good. So blue is definitely open, which is unfortunate because we're all of the other colors, but that's okay. I still think I can make this work just fine. All right, another Kintree Warden. Certainly not an exciting pick, but in fact, I think I'll take the Brave the Sands over it. I don't like main decking it, but ever since I sideboarded it with some degree of success, I've been a little more comfortable with it. All right, we can take Mardu Banner here. I guess it helps us play Zergo Helm Smasher, and I'm not really giving up much of anything. An Archive, which is a good sideboard card. A Mastodon, which is a fine blocker, but never an exciting card, especially since we already have some 5-drops. And Tormenting Voice, which on the splash does not seem like the best idea. Red picks. Get your red picks. Okay. It does appear that we're getting cut this way, but I mean, I'm certainly not unhappy with the picks we have. I think they're fine, but we're still looking for some heavier hitters. I don't exactly know what I need here, though. I think I'm just taking the Defiant Strike because there's a chance I could play it. I still don't think I'm on the red and blue bandwagon, despite signs that it is open this direction. It's a good naturalized pickup. Late blue picks. I think we'll just take the Mentor. I want someone else to go in blue and then open up the rest of the 4 colors. So I'll let them have the Disdainful Stroke. I'm basically just showing whoever I'm passing to that I'm not in blue. Despite the fact that Disdainful Stroke is good against us, some people disagree with this tactic, but I actually agree with the tactic of if you don't want to be in a color, give those away early and let the people that you're passing to know that you're not in those colors. Like passing a last pick Disdainful Stroke is a pretty clear sign to a lot of drafters that that color is open. I think it's an easy Windswept Heath here. If this were a PTQ, you probably take the Nomad Outpost because it fixes for more colors, which a 4-color deck like ourselves would probably need. But I'm in the business of taking ticket cards in Swiss drafts. So I'm going to take this Windswept Heath. I also like the Debilitating Injury, but tickets and fixing it is. I don't think we're likely to play Defiant Strike either. I can probably cut that. Everything else seems okay. I guess Kintree Warden's a bit unexciting. Maybe if green is getting cut as bad, I should have ducked out into... Well, we didn't see many white picks either, though. I think we'll still hopefully be able to make green work out of this second pack here, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, well, there's another Merrick Nightblade. There's also a Suspension Field, which is quite good. We could go for a more black-white splash green route that's going to make the incremental growth worse. But I think I'm still comfortable taking a Merrick Nightblade. I do love Suspension Field. It's a great card. I even think it's good enough on the splash. But I think I still want this Nightblade. I think it is quite good with incremental growth and with armament core. Suspension Field is a nice removal spell, though, and we do seem to be a bit short on removal, although we do have Rite of the Serpent. And Despise isn't really removal, but preemptive removal. I'm going to take this Nightblade over the Suspension Field. I'm questioning my own decision on it, but it's the option I've taken. All right, Kintry Invocation actually seems like a fine pickup here for our base green-black deck. There's also a Highland game, which is fine, but Outlast guys can get some heavy toughness, and a 2-mana 3/3 is fine. Armament Core and Pump Spells make for a better invocation. And this deck actually strikes me as a deck that can make Archer's Parapet work. And Kintry Invocation and Archer's Parapet go together very, very nicely. So I'm comfortable with the Kintry Invocation. Alright, I think I want the Bloodfell Caves here for the fixing. Jeez. Don't like passing that. Chief of the Scale, I mean, is an option too. But I think we're going to take the caves. I'd still like to make this Helm Smasher work. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to actually have some good fixing. Otherwise, Highland game is an option. I could just go for the Highland game now and kind of ditch the idea of Helm Smasher. But Highland game's not like a make or break a deck card typically. I mean, we are on the hunt for some more early game plays, but at this point, because our deck's a little bit of a hot mess, I kind of want to be able to get some fixing online, perhaps go deeper red if I have to. Maybe even splash white, although, well, it does seem realistic. All right, here's our Parapet, so I think we're just going to slam that. It's also a Sultai Scavenger, but Parapet is going to buy us the time, which this deck looks like it actually needs pretty badly at this point. So, and it works just so well with Invocation. It doesn't, however, work so well with the pump spells, but that's okay. We can take a second Parapet, just get them out of the way now. There's also a Bondkin, which is a good card, and I guess I could use some more cards like that. Doesn't interact as well with Invocation, but I think I'll go second Parapet. Let's try and buy ourselves some time. The nice thing about Parapets is they also work well with your Outlast cards. They can buy you time defensively while you're, building up your Outlast dudes. But I'm okay with Parapet here. Just passing a Bondkin and an Unyielding Krumar, both of which I don't exactly need. All right, I can take the Monastery here. Can also take the Windscarred Crag. There's also Canyon Lurkers, I guess, and another Bondkin. But I think I want to land here. This is going to help us splash red and white. I guess Windscarred Crag does that too, so maybe I should just take the Windscarred Crag. But I guess this opens me up for a 5-color deck. I don't think a 5-color deck's realistic, so I'd actually rather have Windscarred Crag for the extra life. Okay. Now it's Smite the Monstrous or Bitter Revelation or Unyielding Krumar. We're a little bit creature light, so I think I'm going to go with the Krumar. Bitter Revelation's a fine card. We don't have much for Delve, just the Scavenger. So let's take the Krumar. Highlands seems fine. I don't think we're going to have to play a Mountain, and maybe we don't even have to play the Mardu Banner if we take this Highlands. Maybe at this point we're just supposed to go deeper red. I can probably do that. So we could take a second Rite of the Serpent. We're giving up a Tormenting Voice, which is fine but not terribly exciting. Sage Eye Harrier. I guess we'll take a second Rite. I've played a couple before. I'm okay with it. All right, we can take the Warshrieker. This unfortunately doesn't look like the best Warshrieker deck because we don't actually have a lot of morph, but I'll take it. Oddly enough, we're going for like a Jund base splash white. I pretty rarely do that, but that's all right. A lot of 4-drops. Not ideal. All right, guess we'll take this. Not likely to sideboard it. Banner number 2 seems unnecessary, but so does the Firehoof Cavalry, I guess. Jeez, it's a lot of Firehoof Cavalries. Okay, so we've got some work to do in this last pack. We're going to need at least 6 cards that are playable. What am I short on currently? I'm a little bit short on removal, although I have double Rite of the Serpent. Jeez, more good picks in that department. I could take the Jungle Hollow. I could take the Windscarred Crag. both of which give white fixing. And we are currently still 4-color, but light in both white and red. I kind of want this Abzan guide because I'm so short on Morph, and Warshrieker into a Morph guy is pretty good. But then again, I do want the Jungle Hollow, and I want the Windscarred Crag too. I guess the Windscarred, well, we already have a Windscarred Crag. And the Windscarred Crag does nothing to help us play our 2-drops, which is problematic. Abzan Guide's got a lot of upside to it because it has lifelink, but our mana base does still need work, I admit. But the fact that this is Morph kind of makes me want to first pick it. The one Morph we have is very unimpressive, and to tell the truth, I'd rather not even, this doesn't even strike me as a Kin Tree Warden deck. I'm going to take the Abzan Guide. Okay, so now we have Kill Shot, which is, I think, fine on the splash. We also have Sagu Archer, which has high toughness, which is good for Kin Tree Invocation. It's also a Morph. Seeker of the Way strikes me as the strongest card, but I don't like the idea of going that deep white. I still am base black-green. I think I'm going to take this Archer. It's a pretty unexciting pick this early, but it has reach, so it gives us a bit of flying defense. It has high toughness for Kin Tree Invocation, and it's just reasonably good defensive card with Morph. Otherwise, Rugged Highlands gives us some more red fixing, but I think at this point we may not even do the Warshrieker. And I need more creatures, which is why I'm taking the Archer over the Kill Shot. This deck's a bit of a hot mess, but I think it'll all come together in the end. Alright, I could take the Rough Rider. I think I probably take the Rough Rider. We already have 3 pieces of red fixing, and Rough Rider at least is a card worth splashing, so I'm okay taking it. Otherwise, Lurkers is another Morph dude. And I do like Lurkers, but Rough Rider is pretty tough to deny the value of it, being able to get rid of blockers and such. I don't like passing all these good Jeskai cards either. There's a Battle Priest, which is quite good. Even if white is the splash, we only have a couple pieces of white fixing currently. Scout the Borders does help fix, but otherwise there's a Scavenger, just another 6-drop. I think the problem with Scavengers in this deck is we don't have a lot of cards that we're putting in our graveyard early. Despise being one of them, but not all that much. I think I'm going to take the Battle Priest. I'd rather go, I guess, lighter on red than well, it's mostly because Battle Priest is such a good card, especially in this deck with Incremental Growth and Armament Core. I'm going to cut, I think I'm cutting Warshrieker. We're going to take Battle Priest. Alright, Longshot Squad is another fine card. A lot of 4-drops in this deck, but we're going to be 18 lands regardless, so. Alright, Savage Punch seems actually pretty good. Otherwise, I take the War Behemoth, but I think Savage Punch is actually fine. Although, I guess I don't have a ton of Ferocious guys until I get to my 5-drops. Abzan Guide, I guess, is one too. Could take the War Behemoth. It's certainly worse than Savage Punch, but it is another creature. I'm going to take the Savage Punch. I think I just want to have it. Can be pretty valuable to have. Alright, a 3rd Parapet, but I think I'm going to take the Grizzly, which is definitely a fine pickup after Savage Punch. It also trades reasonably well, so I'll take it. Abzan Banner seems like something I may want, even though I'm already playing a Mardu Banner. This deck looks like it needs a little bit of help in the mana department. Yeah, I don't think I can. Well, I guess we can make Pet work, theoretically. Maybe I want it over like the Krumar. because I have enough like 4-drops already. Maybe. Best card here is probably the Weapon Master. Force Away is good too, but Weapon Master can be pretty good. All right, Dragon Scale Boon seems fine. There's also a Lurkers, which is another morph guy I could work with, perhaps. Dragon Scale Boon's pretty good, though. Guess I'll take the Boon. Scout the borders. All right. Foil Plains. Taking it. Hate a Sandbar. All right. So let's talk about the pros and cons of what I've just put together here. The pros are we have some actual good finisher cards and actual high value cards too. The Battle Priest, the Double Nightblade, the Helm Smasher, the Armament Core, the Abzan Guide, the Rough Rider. I consider all of these Tier 1 cards, straight up Tier 1. I think they're all very powerful cards. The downsides of this deck are we're 4-color in a kind of uncomfortable way in that we need quite a bit of fixing to make our Rough Riders, Helm Smashers work, and early on we need green resources to make our early plays work. So we're a base green deck with little to no fixing. Well, we have some fixing, but not as much fixing as I would like. And I almost feel like we're playing double banner in here, as awkward as that is. It's mostly just because I feel like I'm not quite doing enough early. I need to make some cuts. I think I am cutting Krumar. I think it's a fine card, but this deck could take it or leave it and be fine. I'd prefer to not cut our non-creature cards in general. Kintry Invocation is kind of like a creature, but it does require another creature. So it's almost like we're running 15 creatures if I include the Kintry Invocation. And actually, Invocation works well with Sidisi's Pet and Archer. Doesn't work well with Grizzly, but Savage Punch does work well with Grizzly, but not so well. So we've got some like mixed sort of cards here. Dragon Scale Boon works very well with both Savage Punch and Kintry Invocation, though, as ways to permanently pump a creature. And it's a good combat trick. So I don't think I want to cut the Boon from this deck. I could maybe cut a Rite of the Serpent, but I like having that too. It may be a case where I actually do cut a banner. Running 2 banners with 18 lands does feel uncomfortable. So the question is, which banner do I like more? I guess I like the Mardu banner more because it fixes for both our red and our white and our black. And I just feel like we're probably not going to need the green fixing. So let's cut the Abzan banner. Let's take a look at our colors here. Combine the groups. All right, so we are base green black. I did that correctly. We're splashing for Abzan Battle Priest, which I think is actually just perfectly fine in this deck. Dragon Scale Boon, Incremental Growth, Nightblades, Long Shot Squad. Just a lot of good Armament Core, a lot of good ways to maximize the value of Abzan Battle Priest. So we're base green black. We have a green and white fixer. We have a black and red. So we already have 3 red fixers and 2 white fixers. And red and white are the splash colors. So 3 red, 2 white already. To get away with only 2 cards in the deck that have red fixing, and banner counts as red fixing too. So actually, we already have 4 sources of red fixing. I could probably get behind 1 mountain. 2 sources of white fixing, which is light. Rough Rider and Helm Smasher seem like difficult cards for us to play because they require our 2 splash colors. 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess, counting the banner. sources of white fixing for only 3 spells in the deck that require it. That's probably okay. Green sources, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, wait, 2, 7 green sources. Seems a bit light. And how many black sources do we have? 1, just 6? I'm a bit uncomfortable with our fixing. A bit. I'd like them to at least be 7 each, I guess, especially with double Rite of the Serpent. Feels a bit more difficult. Five, 6, 7. Well, I guess banner gives us some black fixing too, so it's more like 7 with the banner. Maybe this is the best our mana base can do. 3, 4, 5 sources of white. And I guess 6 sources of white if you count the banner, which I think is okay to do. Especially in an 18 land deck. I mean, we should be able to get to 3 mana and slam that. So 6 sources of white, really. And 7 sources of black, counting the banner. Or 5 sources of red, counting the banner. And 7 sources of green, counting, or the banner doesn't fix for that one. Okay. Well, I have some concerns. I do have some concerns about our mana base, but I think I'm going to actually run. Once again, I think I'm running their recommendation. Overall, I think I've pretty much gone through every upside and downside of this deck. Upsides, we have very high value, high power, high impact spells. Downside, our mana base could have been better. We saw a lot of blue and red cards throughout the draft, which would indicate that we maybe would have had more success in those colors. But I actually don't have a ton of issues with this deck. If we can hit our early defensive plays, we've got some really good late game stuff we can do. And we have the Outlast, which works really well when we're sitting behind, like a Sagu Archer or Parapets. We have the classic turn 2 Parapet, turn 3 Invocation play, which is actually really strong. And yeah, okay, so I'm going to run it like this. I anticipate at least having a couple mana base issues. I think that could very easily happen with this deck. But at least we don't have too many super color intensive spells. It's pretty much just incremental growth and Rite of the Serpents, which are both fairly late game. I guess you do have to count the Rough Rider and Helm Smasher and Armament Core as color intensive because they are. But I think this deck can function and definitely can win. So we'll try it like this, and we'll see you round 1.